Greetings and salutations, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well today. Today I've got a terrifying lineup of encounters to share with you. Before we get into these encounters, though, a couple links I'd like to share, also a brief announcement. As you know, I rely on my Patreon, my PayPal, and my merchandise to help this channel to continue to grow and go. All of those links are in the description below. I also have a second channel for creepypasta, fanfiction, and scary voice acting. Stories that do not fit on this channel. Now, if that's anything that you're into, follow that link and give those stories a listen. You may just like what you hear. I also started a GoFundMe page a little while back to help raise money for legal fees on a court battle I was fighting to keep and maintain the custody of my 12-year-old daughter. Today we won, and I'm going to keep the GoFundMe page up until Saturday. I have a little bit of legal fees left, but we won. And I want to thank everybody who has generously donated and the prayers and well wishes. I don't know how I would have came up with the money to pay for an attorney to fight this fight, but you guys pulled through, and you guys made my world complete today. So I want to thank everybody for everything that you guys have done. Just wow. And thank you. That link is in the description as well. Also, I want to thank everybody for helping me achieve 9,000 subscribers. What an achievement. Thank you so much. Now, enough of this. Let's get on with these encounters. Shall we? Tonight's first encounter. So my friends and I were sitting around the campfire at a creek in central Oklahoma around 11 at night when we heard some rustling from across the water. At first we thought it was just our friend messing with us, but he was still across town at the time, which was confirmed. The rustling turned into close footsteps near the water, still on the other side of the creek, and then the steps turned into a dead sprint parallel to us, with no regard for any branches or anything in its way. Because the way it sounded, you could tell it was bipedal. It wasn't a trot or a gallop, but 2 feet going one after another. If it had hooves, we would have heard it clop across the concrete bridge, and there aren't any bipedal animals with hooves. One of the braver, no, that's a lie, he's stupid, we'll just call him Isaiah for the story of our friends, jolts up and takes after it with a machete in each hand and a flashlight in his mouth. About a minute passed since he ran off from the group, and we heard a bang that was louder than a shotgun blast, but sounded like someone got a 2x4 and with the force of God slapped it against a tree, almost like a crash. Isaiah rushes back to the campfire where we were, soaked in a cold sweat and shaking, and more pale than anything I've ever seen. Fuck that, no, fucking holy shit, I'm not going back out there. He was genuinely mortified by what he saw, which was, as he described, a tall, slender figure running down the land by the edge of the creek, until it turned to the right and left his field of view. And then he heard the bang that seemed to come from every direction, felt a cold and staggering chill run through his body, and ran back to where the rest of us were still at. Based on the experience that I'm sharing with you, what do you guys think it is? I'd like to add that this place is right in the middle of where Chisholm Trail ran through during the Indian Removal Act. Could it possibly be a Native American legend? Tonight's second encounter was sent in by a subscriber. Jeff, I know this channel is centered around Dogman and other cryptid creatures, but I have a disturbing encounter to share. I'm a hunter from central Mississippi, at the beginning of the pine belt that hides who knows what in many unexplored woods. A few years ago, on my way back home, there was this wolf-like creature sitting on the side of the road, lying down without a care in the world. We have plenty of coyote packs here in Mississippi that hang around cow pastures and farms, but this was no typical coyote or wolf. This thing was bigger than a wolf, but lean and muscular, and was the definition of apex predator. One thing that stood out was the ears that stood on the top of its head like a Doberman, and the grayish coat and black mask. I've never seen a wolf here in Mississippi, but the elders always speak of a swamp or red wolf. Looking at the behavior of wolves, they are very shy unless provoked. But this creature had no fear and stared back at me like I was in its way. I honked the horn and it jumped to its feet in an aggressive manner and stood its ground like a lion. The next night I came through on the same road and the creature was lying in the middle of the road like it was its den. It got up slowly and walked off the road like it owned it. This creature knew he was dangerous because he stared right through me as I watched in amazement. I found this channel because of an encounter, and I've heard a few encounters that are close to mine. Some people don't believe these events are real, but I'm going to tell them like the elder told me once. When you're in the woods, they know it. When you're there to hunt, they also know. It's not telling what's in those woods because we humans moved in on them. The creature hasn't been seen lately, but there were animals mangled beyond recognition in the woods for some time. My cousin even had a dog with a plug bitten out of its thigh like flesh was butter. There are plenty of pets missing, and this is due to the woods being cut down and habitats being destroyed. The beasts have nowhere else to go, so it's no telling what we'll be forcing out of the woods. Tonight's third encounter. Now, I've been watching the news since I was a little kid, and I watch it regularly still to this day. So I stumbled upon this last night, and today 2 subscribers reached out to me to share this with me. One subscriber lives around the area that this is occurring. So I'm going to share this with you. It's definitely, I think, 100% Dogman related. Hey Jeff, this is a story that has been breaking on WYMT.com for the last 24 hours or so. In the eastern Kentucky community of Emelina in Knott County, a 13-year-old boy was attacked by a canine-type creature and wound up being carried up a steep mountain. They found the boy dead 400 feet up the mountain. The terrain was very hard for law enforcement, and they just don't know what could have carried him up there. This community is 45 miles away from where I live, and I work with people who have family up there. Kentucky has faced unknown predators killing horses, llamas, and cows, among others, for the last few years. And people have disappeared or been found killed in the local forests several times, but this case is far beyond the other stories. It's astonishing what is going on out there, but I thought you might want to monitor this story. They have numerous state and federal agencies out there right now, but I imagine there will be a good old-fashioned posse hunting these things down when the law enforcement finally leaves. This story may be just getting started. The feds and media have asked we don't discuss it on social media, but of course people are. I'm hearing the official media accounts and the word-of-mouth rumors from locals. I forwarded the story to you. Knott County, Kentucky. WYMT update Wednesday, 12:45. Kentucky State Police released more information about what they believe was an animal attack in Knott County. Kentucky State Troopers responded to a canine attack involving a child Tuesday in Knott County. The coroner was called to the scene. State troopers said the victim in the deadly attack was a 13-year-old boy. They've not released his name yet, but said he was staying at home in Emelina County. Knott County School Superintendent Kim King said the boy was homeschooled. Police said the original call described a canine-type animal, but the exact cause of death will not be released until after the autopsy. Troopers say people in the area should remain hyper-vigilant, especially at night. Update Tuesday, 9 p.m. Troopers with Kentucky State Police confirm a juvenile died in a suspected animal attack in Knott County. They were called to the scene on Kentucky 1102, also known as Montgomery Creek Road, around 6:30 Tuesday evening. The minor's body was found several hundred feet up a hillside in a wooded area. Rain and dark conditions made it difficult for first responders to find him. One person I thought said several hundred feet. 300 to 400 feet up a hill. That's very steep. It's a pretty good distance, said Jody Sims with Kentucky State Police Post 13 in Perry County. Right now, troopers are not able to confirm what type of animal may have attacked the child. It's a real difficult thing to go through, Part of being a professional in the law enforcement or as a first responder, you got to take care of business first. And you kind of deal with it yourself to some degree. But obviously, the biggest focus has to be on this family at the time, added Trooper Sims. They said an autopsy will need to be performed to determine the exact cause of death. The original story, Knott County Coroner Corey Watson tells WYMT he was called to the scene of a suspected canine attack involving a child Tuesday. Watson said it all happened near Kentucky 1102, also known as Montgomery Creek Road. It is not clear if the child was killed nor what led up to the attack. Let's do a little breakdown. First and foremost, prayers go out to the family of the 13-year-old child who was killed. Also, I have a sore throat. That's why I'm not doing a super long upload tonight. But my prayers go out to that family. Just a devastating loss. It has Dogman written all over it. A wolf is a very strong animal. So isn't a mountain lion. But this was an apparent canine attack, so I'm 100% sure this is a Dogman. I covered the llama news coverage there for a little bit and a couple uploads ago, or a while ago, and a wolf is about 150 pounds, and that's max, like big wolf. A 13-year-old child, my daughter's 12, she's 5'3", weighs 110 pounds. Whatever dragged this child up the hill had to be incredibly powerful, and I'm guessing that the child was probably deceased before it was dragged up the hill, so it's going to be even harder. Dead weight, or if the child was alive, he would have been fighting back, so it must have had some extreme strength. I will be covering or watching this story and keep you guys updated, and it's just a sad encounter and or just story. Can't imagine what they're going through. The second encounter, 100% Mississippi Dogman. Large, lean, muscular dog lying in the middle of the road. Yeah, I mean, this has gotta be a Dogman. And the first encounter, I think, was a Skinwalker. Oklahoma is notorious for Skinwalker activity, and I definitely think it was 100% Skinwalker, and those people were very lucky to get out of there. I'm having a hard time talking. I'm actually really saddened by the last story. Today is a great day for me, and me getting custody of my 12-year-old daughter, and then to narrate this encounter of this poor family that loses their 13-year-old child. It's a hard thing. God, I can't even imagine. Anyway, I'm going to rest my throat for the rest of the night and watch a movie with my daughter, and I will be back tomorrow with some amazing encounters to share with you. And with that, guys, I want to bid you farewell.